Pretty terrible close here on Tesla. Netflix, however, closing up near highs. Kind of unfortunate because I'm not trading live tomorrow. Yeah, Latvian, me too, man. This hasn't been a fun week so far. Hasn't been a fun week so far. Tesla just really made me mad today. We got about a minute here until the close. The 235 calls had over 100,000 volume today. Tomorrow's gonna be pretty interesting. Yeah, Jack, you would have sniped the bottom there for almost a $5 move. I mean, the way that trade happened, I mean, I was not mad at my entry. I would have taken that every single time, and there was just no follow through. So kind of unfortunate. Definitely not my favorite trading day ever. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Market close. Some big sells on Tesla. Netflix closed near highs. I do think that, again, Netflix probably has a pretty good chance to happen tomorrow. I'm going to go over all this at my lesson tonight. This is more like earnings talk. I mean, it's kind of like for me to go over old earnings. I don't really have much to say other than earnings season's kind of wrapping up. So, I mean, I'll just spend, 15, maybe 20, 30 minutes here with you guys. If you have questions or tickers you want me to go over, I'm still going to be watching these same two setups. I hate that today. We tried them 2 times and they didn't work out as good as I think that they could by any means. The losses shouldn't have been massive. If they were, then you were in too heavy. I tried to make it clear this morning that with FOMC tomorrow, things could just kind of be a little bit choppy. I was red today for, I didn't take any trades yesterday, red today. But I know in the back of my head that when these setups happen, as long as they can happen the right way, the winners should outdo the losers for sure. So as long as you can execute it the right way and put the right amount of size to it, they will be good. So, what's up, Root? So yeah, I mean we'll see what happens. I think Netflix probably going to happen tomorrow. Unfortunately, that's going to be a big one for sure. I have class early tomorrow, which really sucks. So it's not very good timing. Market hasn't really been our friend this week. A lot of chop. Back to Tesla. I mean, it was trading okay, and then out of nowhere, we just dumped under 230, and buyers could not get that back above. So close around 228. Green about 0.5% today, which is kind of crazy. So, I would love to see the market gap up a little bit tomorrow. I'd like to see Netflix open up around, 708, 709. And then get that, off the open trade. I'm not going to be on mic, unfortunately. So support resistance, I think is what he means. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of disappointing, but you got to move on. You guys got any questions or any other tickers you want me to go over? Anyone in here that's free that has any questions about anything? I have no topic right now, so just kind of like a pop-up lesson since there was no earnings, and typically I do earnings on Tuesdays. So we'll just have to see what happens. We can make this as long or as short as you guys want. Nope, no live tomorrow, unfortunately. I think that's either Lee or Jay. I'll be in the chat, though. I'll be typing away, definitely, if Netflix is going to happen. We'll see what goes on. We'll see where we are tomorrow morning. We'll see where we are tomorrow morning. I'm definitely not thrilled with the action today, but as expected with FOMC, it seems like people are leaning toward there's going to be a rate cut. I don't know how that's going to affect the market. My first guess would be the market would go up. However, that is pretty expected, so it could be a sell the news scenario. We are all-time highs, so I would, on SPY, so I would like to see things break out and go higher because the setups for us are higher. However, the market likes to play tricks on you, and maybe everything sells off. So I don't really know. I don't want anyone to be too exposed. So, we could wake up and Tesla could be at 220. We could wake up and Tesla could be at 233. We could wake up and Netflix is at 720. I don't know. And also, my first guess is going to be that things are going to be fairly slow tomorrow morning. I think that the whole day could be slow. So if Netflix wants to make its move, I don't think it's going to be the real move. I think Thursday would be the real move if it's still there, unless the market is just absolutely, going on a tear. So no, FOMC is at excuse me. The announcement whether it's going to be a rate cut or they're going to keep it neutral will be at 2:00 Eastern, and then Powell starts talking at 2:30 Eastern. So that is going to be what's going on here. So I think things are probably going to be a bit slow until then, unfortunately. All right, later, Farouk. Anyone else? Any other questions? YouTube, Twitter, Twitch? You guys can ask as well. I have nothing planned. Netflix, yeah. So, I've kind of talked about Netflix here, but I do think, where's my mouse? There we go. The way that it closed today, if this wasn't Netflix, I would be swinging this. I'd be buying it close and swinging this. But Netflix typically does not move much overnight unless there's news. So I expect this to open under 710. I mean, ideally, that's what happens. But you can see here that this bull flag is working out. This is like a prime squeeze setup. I mean, this is something that I really want to catch a big move on. It's not going to be a scalp. With a little loss today, you can make 5 times what you lost today if you trade it the right way. If you're willing to give it $3, $4, $5 today, you have to be willing to give it $10, $15, $20 on a winner to make it make sense, right? So, I mean, if this works the right way and we actually get this trade, I mean, you can look at the volume here. I mean, it was pretty low. If we can get an upper volume day, over like 4 million volume on the day, that is a scenario where this could go from 710 to 720, 725, maybe even get really crazy and go 730. Yeah, Chag, 100%. But, again, it's like Netflix is hard to trade, but the easiest way to trade it is waiting for the volume. If you're patient enough and disciplined enough to wait for the volume and not put any size on, maybe take a starter position or whatever on low volume, you're going to be fine. But when you see that volume really spiking and you see this thing running, you cannot be scared to put size onto it. Yeah, it's, the spreads are wide. Your P&L is going to be going all over the place. That doesn't mean you need to be going super heavy, but you need to be in with more than a starter position, for one. And two, even if you just traded one contract today and you're going to trade one contract tomorrow or Thursday or whenever it happens, you cannot look for a scalp. You cannot get scared when you're in the green and just try to take it. A lot of people will do that, and that's one of the first ways to be an unsuccessful trader. You have to let those winners go. These setups for me, I'm looking to crush. If they work the right way, these are big, big, big trades that are possible. But the easiest way to lose a ton of money is to be way too biased on a trade like this. Go in with way too much money. Look, and not even so much going with too much money, but giving it too much room against you, right? If you're going to be in super heavy, you need to have tight stops. If you're going to be in with the right amount of size, then you can, give it a reasonable stop loss, but also you have to be patient enough to let it go. I don't plan on selling a single contract until above 715. I even want to sell the majority of my position at 720 if we can get this trade. I'm looking for 10, $7 to $10 to maybe even $15 move on this. This is something that also could run for a couple days. So it's almost like, let's say I go in with 10 contracts, I may hold 2 for the entire day. Obviously, break even stop loss, maybe even stop loss in the green. Maybe if this runs up to 720, my stop loss is 715. And then I try to let this go for an extra day. But I would want to be in the 710 calls, so I'm in the money, don't have to worry too much about time decay. So to me, that's the biggest thing. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it on Netflix. Yeah, I mean, believe me, I wish I was live trading tomorrow too, because it looks like tomorrow's going to be the day. But tomorrow could also be a pullback day. Tomorrow could also be a flat, choppy day, which honestly I would prefer, just because FOMC could really screw up how clean that these Tesla and Netflix can be. I've talked about it for 2 days now. I tried trading both of them today. Weren't great, right? I mean, it wasn't like it was some crazy loss, but they're very reasonable losses. The only thing is, it's like I'm okay with doing that. I'm not going to miss these trades. When these trades come, they're going to outweigh your losers if you trade it the right way and you use the correct risk management. So, losses today should be 25% at most of what you're looking to make, I think. Because, Netflix, for example, is something that can move, especially later in the week. I mean, guys, you could see 300, 400, 500% gains on Netflix, and I'm not exaggerating. You can see 50% in 30 seconds. It's a stock that can really, really move, especially when there's volume there, because then the contracts are jumping, right? So many people are coming in trying to buy these that the bid and the ask are just jumping and jumping and jumping with all the orders coming in. So you want to try to time it right. But if I can stress anything enough, Jag, I cringe at myself for saying that on that video, but where was I? If I can stress anything enough, is these setups, you have to let them work, and you have to be patient with them, and you have to look for the bigger move. If you're going to come into these and try to scalp them, then, whatever, let's say you make a little bit of money. But that's going to lead you into a mindset of, once you see that trade continuing, you're going to want to chase it. And that's where, let's say you have 1 or 2 good scalps, and then you try to go for that third one because, oh my God, I could have made so much more money. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. That's where you're probably going to get caught in a pullback. And that's where you could blow half or all of your profits. So it's the last thing that you want to do. I would like to see the market up. Tesla, again, was disappointing. I wanted to see that close above 230 today. It didn't. So, we're going to have an extra day on that for sure. So that won't happen tomorrow. I mean, unless we gap up to 233 or something, I don't think it's there. If it gaps up to 230, I mean, maybe. But, to me, where Tesla is right now, it's going to be a later in the week trade. So probably Thursday, Friday. And I am live trading those days. I would really love to trade Netflix with you guys. I hope it doesn't happen tomorrow, but I think the odds are it will, because that's just the market. That's just people's luck in the market, So we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to completely shut it down. I also don't want to hope that it doesn't happen, but I do think that it can. But I think a lot of you guys know enough from me that how I would like to trade it. Yeah, I mean, bring it up to Lee for sure. I don't know if he'd trade it the same way that I do, but I think he would easily understand all-time high break you want to be in kind of right before that and let it go. I think he would completely agree with me on that. I know that he agrees with me on the Tesla trade. So really don't have a whole lot else for you guys on that. I'm just kind of going in circles here. You guys got any other questions or any other stocks you want me to look at, or any questions on those two that you want me to talk about again? Yeah, of course. Of course. I want you guys to be ready for these. I want you guys to, some of y'all may think I was crazy this morning, right? Because the trades didn't work. But I can promise you, when we look back in a week or two, if obviously if the market tanks, these aren't going to happen. But if all this stuff lines up, these are A+ setups. And then they're no short of that. So be ready. Please let your winners work for you. Let them run. Don't try to scalp it. right? Because if you're looking for a 10% win and you're okay with the 20% loss, you're never going to be successful. These are trades where you can make Tesla at least is 50% plus pretty easily. I think Netflix could easily be over 100%, 200% gain if it works the right way, especially later in the week, like I said. So I think we have FedEx earnings later this week as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm honestly not super interested in anything else. I mean, I know that, yeah, of course, Jack. I know that Meta is getting close here. This is honestly another really good setup that I like. It's not as good, I think, as Netflix or Tesla, but it's the same principle here, right? It kind of looks like Tesla as well. You got these, triple top. We break through 545. That's where this could go 550, 560, maybe 570. So these are big all-time high breaks that you need to be able to capitalize on. What are good examples of these? I've done this before. Apple at 200. I mean, this is something that went from 200 to almost 240, 20% move. Microsoft earlier on, right? Triple top here, broke through 430 up to 470. Google was another one. The levels are further back away, but I think it was at 175 here, 180 even. Broke through 180 to 190, 10% move. What were some other ones here? That may have been it. Was Amazon one? Amazon was also kind of one as well. Back over here, right, during the summer, 190 to 200, about another 10% move. Yeah, my lesson's at 9 o'clock tonight. This was just kind of like a 15 to 20-minute thing to hop in here if anyone wants to ask questions, just because there's no earnings today. Didn't really have anything planned for tonight or for this, but Jenny G, FOMC is going to be at 2 o'clock Eastern time. That is when the announcement is made. And then at 2:30 p.m., that is when Powell gets up and talks. So that's tomorrow in the afternoon. That's why I'm saying that I think that maybe the tomorrow morning can be very slow. Maybe it's not, but probably is. Mars will also just set up a $60 billion share buyback program. So typically share buybacks are positive. It's going to hurt their cash, but that means that the company wants to buy back more of its shares, which would make, when you have share buybacks, that means that they're buying up. Obviously, they're buying back shares from the public, making less supply, making prices go higher for the stock. So in the short term, maybe it comes down, but that's typically a positive thing for the stock price. So we'll see what happens on that. I mean, we're kind of sitting here. We pulled back like some other things today. So I think Microsoft gapped up today, unlike other things. And with the market kind of being flat with FOMC tomorrow, from what I can kind of read from most of the price action today is there seems to be a little bit more selling today. Obviously, market was slightly green, but it was much higher to start the day. So to me, that shows that bigger money is kind of just getting out of the way for any sort of, for the FOMC announcement tomorrow, right? They'd rather just be sidelined and can come and buy back in. And, also kind of protect themselves. SPY all-time high today, some profit taking going on. So to me, it's just, money flowing out of the market from a sideline perspective, not so much that they think the market's going to come down, but more so just from a risk management perspective. That's my take on today. Any other questions, guys? I have a free lesson tonight where we're going to do more of this kind of stuff, but for anyone that can't make that, I was hoping that they'd be in here asking questions. I'll hang out for another like 10 minutes at most. Wow, of course BlackRock's involved. What's the thing on the left side of my screen called? Like this black, oh, right side, sorry. That is times in sales. So you can see a couple orders coming through here, but typically during the day, like if I go here, you can see this moving slowly right now, but during the day, it's obviously much faster. This is times in sales. So times in sales is pretty much like some people call it the tape. It's, just because it's continuously moving down, it's just showing me like, so it has time, price, and size. So at 1519, which is 319 my time, '09, two shares got sold at $435.66 on Netflix. At 1519.15, at 435.66, 15 shares got bought. Okay. So, I don't care about one share. I don't care about 100 share sizes. So I have a filter for 200 shares or above. So I can at least, especially for the stocks that I'm trading, right? So like if you do the math on this, $435, call it 436 times 200 shares. I mean, that's $87,000 transaction, right? We just had one for 42,000 shares. So 42,114 shares times the $435.15 transaction price. That's $18 million that just got transacted there. So I just filter it for bigger orders just so, because I don't care about the one share, one share, one share. I want to see the big orders coming through. That makes sense, Craig. Yeah. So not really something that I stare at, throughout the day, but I will glance at it. I honestly like something that I do use it for is actually the speed of it, not so much the order sizes, but more so the speed. When I see the tape moving very fast, I know that there's a lot of orders coming through. And not to mention, I have it filtered for bigger orders too. So I know, okay, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of volume coming into play. So that's honest. That's just a little secret sauce there for you. So I use the speed on the times and sales, maybe even more so than I use the actual order sizes. And then obviously candlesticks are just a representation of times and sales from a visual standpoint. Candlesticks are just a visual receipt for a specific amount of time. Yeah, 100%. Good question. I don't think I've gotten a question about times and sales in a while. What else you guys got? I'll hang out for 8 more minutes. What's your favorite way to find new charts, hot stocks, and so on? Yeah, honestly, like there's a lot of ways you can go about this. You can have scanners. So for some people that trade like big penny stock runners, right? Things that are up 100, 200, 300% in a day. You can scan for that stuff. So besides like having to find a piece of news, some people show up, click go on their scanner, and they'll see like the top 10 biggest movers or whatever. For me personally, Craig, I only trade a handful of stocks. So I only trade like the mega cap stocks. It's, you know, uh, Meta, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, stuff like that. So I don't typically go outside of that. There are very rare occasions when there's news on something that I do like Oracle. That was something I haven't really ever traded, and I traded that last week. PLTR was something recently that's been popping off. Like during COVID, I like to talk about like during COVID, vaccine stocks are really hot. I trade those. When crypto is running really hard, I'll trade Coinbase. Um, what was another one? There's a bunch of IPOs like Baidu, Upstart, Affirm, stuff like that. Beyond Meat. This is 2-3 years ago. I would trade those during then. So I mean, I do filter in and out stocks that are hot, but a lot of the times, it's not so much I'm like actively looking. It's just the continuously being curious about what's going on, keeping up with the news, seeing what's going on, right? I wouldn't know about those if I didn't keep up with the news. And also, sometimes it's guys in here that bring the tickers to my attention and I look them up and I like it. And then we end up having a trade on it. So that's another reason why the community is so important. And that's why, I don't know if you know me, but I've traded on a trading floor a couple summers. And that's a big reason why people trade with each other, is because some people pick up information here, some others there, and then you can collaborate. The best way to get good at this is to work with other people. And you're going to get what you give. Well, why would someone have a large order to buy at, let's say, 230? They could buy at a lower price. So Latvian. So when we're looking at walls, let's say that I want to see a big wall at 235. Those actually aren't buy orders. Well, honestly, I don't really. It's hard to say actually, because I look at it as more a supply and demand. Times and sales will go green, but again, it's just kind of a transaction thing. It's just because it got executed on the ask. So, I could put a sell order on the ask at 235 and Tesla's under it. If Tesla's at 234.50 and I put a buy order at 235, I'm going to get filled instantly at 235 and the stock's under it. So those are pending orders sitting up there. Whether it's stop limit, buy limit, whatever, sell limit. So no, not a dumb question. And honestly, it's still kind of confusing to me to think about it. But what I would rather you do is, like, if there's a wall at 235, think about that as supply and think about that as a lot of shares looking to get executed at that price. So when something's shooting up, as long as all those orders can get executed, that wall is then broken. If there's not enough people and money to fill that demand, then the price can't go higher. Does that make sense? And then vice versa, the downside. Craig, that's good, man. Well, hey, you need to come over to Premium. I can tell you that right now. Might be able to get you a little deal. Yeah, no such thing as a dumb question at all. That was good. That may have kind of been a confusing answer, and honestly, it's kind of hard to answer. But the easiest way to think about it, like I said, is from the supply and demand perspective. Yeah, Craig, you're gonna go. Obviously, you get what you pay for, right? There's only so much we give out for free here. Any other questions, guys? I'm in the middle of doing. You don't even want to see what kind of homework I'm doing right now, so um, I'd like to get that done, but I'll hang out for another few minutes if there's any other questions. We got some good questions going on. Yeah, Latvian, definitely. It's Excel stuff, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Loco long-term holdings. I don't know anything about it. $14 stock, so probably not something I would be super interested in. But is this from like a fundamental standpoint? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, definitely a strong stock. It's been moving pretty good. I don't really know the company. I don't even know that I've heard about it. Um, maybe I have, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to give you any sort of negative They're growing. Yeah, I'm just not your I'm not your long-term guy by any means. Um, did you have the SMT set up or did that automatically configure? SMT, I don't know what that is. Greg, what's SMT? Okay, well, Greg, you there? What's SMT? I'm gonna head out of here, guys, after this question. I apologize, but this is due here in 30 minutes. Oh yeah, no, the dotted lines is something just already configured. That's just an algo that I have, uh, just is personal. You could probably find it online somewhere. I think. I don't know. I got it years ago. I don't know what it's called. I would have to go back and find it just because I have it as support resistance algo saved in my computer. Um, but if you have Thinkorswim, for anyone that does have Thinkorswim, I can share these with you. I can share the actual code for it. Other than that, I don't know where you could get it, unfortunately, Craig. For other platforms, this is just a Thinkorswim specific algo. Yeah, no problem. If you get Thinkorswim, let me know. All right, guys, I hate to run, but this is, I'm going to need every minute I can get here. So thanks for being here, and I will see you guys tonight. Yeah, Chag, me too. I'll see you guys tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Later.